Everyone loves that cinematic feeling when you're watching a movie or a TV show. And recently, when I was watching Stranger Things, along with the rest of the world, I started thinking, can we writers bring that effect to our novels too? That cinematic feeling, after all, is just immersion and style and storytelling. So here's how you can make your writing cinematic to keep your readers engaged and to give your book more personality. The first way is something Stranger Things does a lot of. In film, it's called a match cut, and it's a transition between two scenes, or as Wikipedia puts it, a cut from one shot to another where the composition of the two shots are matched by the action or subject matter. Here's an example from Stranger Things.
Remember.
In a novel, we have shots in the same way a movie does, although they're usually a lot longer, and we definitely have moments that we need to move between. So I thought, theoretically, we should be able to use match cuts in a novel just fine. So I tested it, and it worked. Here's an example from the novel I'm working on right now. We start in an underground tunnel and we transition to an alleyway. For a moment, he forgot where he was. He just saw the light and kept moving down the tunnel, kept putting one foot in front of the other. "Richard! Hey Richard," someone called from the darkness behind him. He turned, keeping a hold on his backpack. Down the alley he'd just come from, a man was waving to him, jogging to catch up. "Richard, I thought that was you." To me, that effect is pretty much the same thing, and it's great for transitioning from the present to the past in your stories. It's far smoother than ending one scene and starting up a whole new one, the whole time having to make sure that your reader will still understand what's going on. This way, you never really drop the reader, you just kind of switch which hand you're carrying them in. And another technique I think we can use for a similar effect is overlapping dialogue. I pretty much did this one in the last example as well as the match cut, but essentially what I'm talking about is ending a scene on dialogue that then bleeds through into the next scene. Again, here's an example from Stranger Things.
How long have you known that Eddie Munson was killing these kids?
The dialogue begins before the scene ends, which smooths the transition. We can definitely use this in our novel writing too. The only difference is we have to use dialogue on either side that sounds like it could be part of the same conversation but actually isn't. Something like this, for example. "Did you remember to get the tickets?" "Yeah, got decent ones too." "Nice, where we sitting?" "Alright folks, second row from the front, seat 4 and 5, enjoy the show." "Thanks pal." Maybe not the most gripping scene ever, but it demonstrates how we can move between the two scenes while keeping the context of the conversation the same. It's the same smoothness in transition. We're not losing the reader by stopping and then starting again, we're just carrying them all the way through with us. One tip I'd have for these is, of course, use them in moderation. Doing it all the time might make it a bit too noticeable, which defeats the point of trying to make our writing immersive. And I know loads of people will be quick to point out that film and literature are different, they're not the same. I know they're not, but it's all storytelling, and it's all trying to keep readers invested in our stories. One of the best ways to do that is by making your stories relatable. So if you need some tips about how to do that, try this video next.